Do you think a Scorpio's silence is a sign of disinterest? Think again. It is precisely in that moment that they are reading every detail of your soul. In the next few minutes, we will unravel why their loyalty is a blood pact, what the one fear that controls their every action is, and how they transform the worst betrayals into their greatest source of power. To understand Scorpio, we need to dive into the shadows, into a realm where truth is not spoken, but felt. Many see only the scorpion, the stinger at the ready, a symbol of danger. They perceive an impenetrable fortress. And while this holds a fragment of truth, it is only the surface of a much more complex reality. Their nature compels them to probe the depths of every emotion and interaction. If their presence unnerves you, it is because they carry the weight of the invisible world. They are a living reminder that, beneath civility, there exists an ocean of primordial truths. If you believe there are truths worth discovering in the shadows, this journey is for you. The first secret we will reveal is not about what they do, but about what they don't do, and why this silent refusal is their most formidable shield. To understand the architecture of Scorpio's power, we look to its celestial ruler, Pluto. In the myths, Pluto was not a figure of evil, but the sovereign of the underworld. This was not a realm of punishment, but the domain of everything that is hidden and immensely valuable. It is the subconscious mind of the universe. This is the fundamental principle from which all scorpionic traits derive. Therefore, the first secret is this: their silence is a vault, not an absence. When a Scorpio is quiet, they are not empty or disengaged, they are mining. Their consciousness is a deep scan sonar, picking up the invisible realities around them. In a work meeting, for example, while everyone debates the numbers on the screen, the silent Scorpio is noticing how the manager avoids eye contact when discussing deadlines, or the slight tension in the jaw of a colleague who disagrees but dares not speak. Scorpio's silence is not a void, it's a sonar. They are collecting the data everyone else ignores, the emotional residue of a conversation. They're not waiting for their turn to speak, they are waiting for the truth to reveal itself in the spaces between words. And this is not out of malicious intent, but rather a survival mechanism. The information collected in this silent vault is not stored passively. It is processed and cross-referenced with an intuition that borders on the psychic. This leads us to the second secret. They see the cracks in your foundation. While other signs might see the person you present to the world, Scorpio sees the structural flaws underneath. For example, while everyone praises a coworker's confidence, Scorpio perceives that their need to control every detail of the project is born from a deep-seated fear of failure they never admit. They feel the unhealed childhood trauma that fuels your fear of abandonment, the insecurity that drives your need for validation. This perception is involuntary, an attunement to the frequency of repressed energy. They don't hear what you say, they feel what you hide. This is why interactions with them can feel so invasive. They make you feel seen, but not just the parts you want to show. And this deep diagnostic ability leads directly to the third secret, which explains their legendary loyalty. Their loyalty is a blood oath. For a Scorpio, granting you their trust is to allow you into the sacred, fortified space of their inner world. It is a profound act of vulnerability. Therefore, it is not a casual social contract. It is a pact. Betraying a Scorpio is not breaking a promise. It is desecrating a temple. The infamous sting is not random cruelty. It is the measured and definitive response to a sacrilege. This life or death intensity is not reserved for relationships alone. It is the fundamental rhythm of their entire existence. This reveals the fourth and perhaps most crucial secret. They live in a constant state of metamorphosis. The symbol of Scorpio is threefold: the scorpion, the eagle, and the phoenix. It is not a linear progression, but a perpetual cycle. A Scorpio is constantly undergoing mini deaths and rebirths. A layoff, for many, is a setback.
For Scorpio, it is the death of a professional identity. They will plunge into that grief, burn the old self to ashes, and reemerge, perhaps in an entirely new career, armed with a ruthless wisdom. For Scorpio, life is not a straight line. It is a series of pyres and rebirth. They are not the same person they were 5 years ago because that person has literally died. This continuous and often painful process of transformation directly informs the fifth secret. Their greatest fear is powerlessness. All their behaviors, the secrecy, the need for control, the silent observation are defenses against a single threat, being at the mercy of another's will. To be powerless is to have their ability to transform taken from them. It is to be trapped and exposed. Controlling the world is secondary. The true goal is to have sovereignty over one's own soul. The immense burden of walking over their own ashes repeatedly creates a unique strength. It is a strength forged in darkness, and it is meant to be used there. This brings us to the sixth secret, which reframes their intimidating nature. They are healers who operate in the dark. Scorpio is not the friend who will offer you platitudes or say everything will be okay. They are who you call at 3 a.m. when your world has imploded. They will not flinch from your ugliest truths or your deepest despair because they have faced their own and survived. They will sit with you in the wreckage, not to clean up the mess for you, but to hand you the tools for your own reconstruction. They don't give you a bandage. They guide you through the surgery. They are the psychic surgeons of the Zodiac, able to cut straight to the heart of a problem with unnerving precision. However, in return, they can become cynical, burdened by the psychic poison they transmute. This balanced reality, the healer who is perpetually wounded, brings us to the final secret. Their ultimate goal is not revenge, but alchemical transformation. The sting and the intensity are lower manifestations of their power. The true life's work of an evolved Scorpio is a form of spiritual alchemy. It is the process of taking the lead of life's greatest pains, betrayal, loss, trauma, and transmuting it into the gold of wisdom and resilience. Vengeance is fire that burns. Alchemy is fire that forges. Vengeance is a temporary release of pressure. True scorpionic power is transforming the poison meant to kill you into the elixir that grants you a new, more potent life. Understanding this ultimate purpose is the key to unlocking the enigma of Scorpio. The intensity that frightens us is the heat of the forge. The secrecy that confuses us is the protection of a sacred crucible. The destructive power we fear is the same one that allows them to demolish rotten structures to make way for new growth. To unmask a Scorpio is not to expose a monster, but to witness the awe-inspiring and terrifying process of a soul being perpetually reforged. For the Scorpios listening, do not fear your own depth. Your path is to wield your power not for defense, but for creation. It is to choose the path of the phoenix over that of the scorpion. To use your fire not just to burn, but to resurrect. For those who love a Scorpio, the invitation is to be brave. Look beyond the armor. Offer them the one thing they value above all else. Unwavering, unvarnished truth. In the end, the promise of Pluto is universal. It teaches us that only by having the courage to face the darkness can we unearth our most valuable treasures and claim the indestructible power of a soul that has walked through fire and learned to call it home. Scorpios in the comments, which secret defines you the most? And for those who know one, share a story that proves one of these points. Let's see that intensity in action. For more deep dives into the truths of the cosmos, subscribe and turn on notifications. The next revelation is always closer than you think.